The views, thoughts, and opinions on this podcast belong only to the hosts and the guests. They don't necessarily reflect any organization or sponsors connected to us. We aim to keep things accurate, but everything you hear is shared for information, conversation, and entertainment. We're going to dive into good laughs, tough talks, and that genuine feel that you came for. So get comfortable, relax into the vibe, and let the moment unfold. This is Keep It Clean. Lock in.
Because if that means if saying it now, did you always say it? Then two, if you say it now,
is this needed? Is it acceptable? Does it change up everything? What's your thoughts? Did it make any sense?
So the G League is football.
There is a game that's second place. Yes, that's second place.
Tell me why I'm watching the game on ESPN. One of the banners in the background is YouTube TV for the game, but we can't even watch it. How does that make sense?
$20. I don't want no $20. I want the game.
Every time you see me, I keep it clean like a coaster.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes to everybody and everyone that's here and tuning in with us. We appreciate y'all. We back for another episode. So fast. Y'all getting 2 in 1 week. Fresh off of the holiday. We fueled up. Done worked off the weight. All that Thanksgiving. And we back here to talk about some sports, man. Some shenanigans have been happening. But first, we going around the room. If your duo is here. Mr. Blue, how you feeling?
You know, I'm recovered. I had my time to grieve. I'm glad you left me alone. I'm gonna let people know he left me alone so I could grieve and do my thing. So I appreciate it. But I'm doing good, man. Blessed to be here back with you. Happy to have the conversation.
How did you feel about Nick popping in over there and putting you on Instagram like that?
I mean, an apology is wild in my opinion because I didn't even know he was an Ohio State fan. I ain't seen no post. I ain't seen nothing that really would emulate that he would be an Ohio State fan. So, it is what it is. I saw it and I quickly ignored it because I wasn't about to repost that mess on my page. So, yeah.
Okay, bro. Hey, man, you handled it with grace. We gonna touch on it. I give you credit as a team. I know it tugged on your heartstrings watching them defend the M. Yeah, watching them defend the M, man. I know it tugged on your heartstrings.
It's our own fault though. It's our own fault because we planted the flag last year. Like that almost started a whole riot in the whole stadium. So that's our own fault.
I know Baker's done it, but like who?
He's not the first person to plant the flag, I don't believe. But I just think on a platform like the game, you can't go plant the flag, especially how emotionally high that game gets. You can't do that.
Yeah, because I know USC does it, but that's just like their thing as a team. Yeah, man. They said protect the M. Well,
I will just say, real quick. I'm gonna just say Ryan Day. I actually respect him for telling his players to get off the field and not even try to do that. Him talking to Shamar, I'm getting my guys off the field. Like, don't worry about it. Like, that was a cool moment because he definitely was a lot classier than we were last year. So I give him that.
At least you admit it, man. Well, let's give y'all the rundown. Here's what's happening today. We getting straight to it with a whole bunch of stuff. We got the NBA, Morant, Lamelo Ball, Trae Young. They're gonna be a conversation. I think it's time to have the genuine conversation about where y'all at in y'all's careers, and we go for that. I might add Zion. I was sticking to guards, but I might add Zion in that conversation. Chris Paul got cut midday. We got Draymond versus at home. Draymond versus Kenyon Martin, and we got Giannis trying to tell us whether or not he wants to be there. In college football, we got updates from the games that happened over the weekend, going for reviews. Lane Kiffin has chosen where he wants to go and still addressing whether or not he's a hoe. That's an actual quote from a reporter. That's not coming from me. You saw it. We saw it. He addressed them. Words were said. Cool. Penn State wants to have a coach, but can they? Because the Mormons saying something different. Then you got the final predictions as we have college conference championship games coming this weekend. We're going to try to see where that goes. And then we got the NFL highlights, and then specifically Mike Tomlin. Is it time? And I'm you know what? I'm going to start off. We're going straight into it. I'm going first this week, right? I'm going first this week for the highlight portion of it. My highlight is this right here. You see this? You see this, Raheem? You see my tag? You see this? That's how we feel as fans. This is how we feel. I'm Charlie Brown with a bag over my head, being a Falcons fan, and Raheem Morris, my brother. Count your days, sir. And it's not even completely you. You know, you benefit well with an offensive coordinator, but you know the game, man. You know the game as head coach. We've been in the pistol formation every day since I can remember for the last 2 years. Predictable. You got a whole running back that starts off 7 to 8 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Of course, the defense is already there by the time he gets up. He done ran the first down just to get back to where the ball started. Look, man. Raheem, I love you, black man. I do. We don't got no quarterback. I don't know what to do for you, brother. That's my highlight of the week. Y'all fumbled to the Jets. And shout out to Tyrod Taylor, who's the greatest journeyman that I've seen in my days of adult football watching. But come on, dog. We got to do better. What you got, man?
I'm just watching this unfold in real time. You know,
I have no issue being honest.
Yeah, no, we keeping it clean, right? That's what we're doing. I'm keeping it clean on my side. I gotta say, as far as watching my team not score a single touchdown the entire game, that hurt. Especially when you kick a field goal to start the game, you feel okay about that. You get an interception on the first couple plays, like you feel good. We're supposed to get in. Once we didn't score the second time, something in my head said, uh-oh. Because I was like, we're not going to win this game if we can't score a touchdown. We can't kick our way out of this. So I'm in the same boat you are. Not as much as my team has to dump our coach, because I believe he's got another year or two. I know a lot of people who are Michigan alum or fans are saying we don't have the coach that can recruit the top players. I mean, we got the number one quarterback in the country. So I don't understand. That's not it. We just didn't go in. We didn't play our best game. Like it is what it is. That's my highlight of the week. We didn't play our best game. Ohio State came fully prepared, and saying, as much as I hate to say it, he was very poised. He stayed in the pocket. Okay. He made decisions even after making a few mistakes early. And I mean, just clowned us the rest of the game. They came out disrespectful, throwing the ball, just deep ball, like first play, like we just don't have a defender that can stay back there, which we definitely do. But once they calmed it down and realized, oh, the middle of the field is wide open, they just picked us apart. So it just got to that point where we had to play so soft on the line so that way we could cover these wide receivers that they have, that they were able to just pick us apart whenever they wanted to, because Sayin had 10 seconds in the backfield. Like, there's nothing we can do about that if we can't put pressure on the quarterback. He sat back there, and I don't know if he got touched. So
I had two key feedbacks from that game. One, I think that first touchdown, and I'm sorry, the second touchdown that they gave him to close out the first half for Ohio State kind of broke y'all's spirit, because he was bobbling. He was bobbling the ball.
It stepped out of bounds. It was supposed to be a touchback. Yeah.
So
Vegas
going into halftime, that was a momentum shifter. Secondly, y'all's coach, bro, like, just loosen the vest, please. I think if you're able to breathe and get oxygen through the rest of your body, there'd be some decisions that you can make.
That jacket do be tight. That jacket do be tight.
I give you that. Bubble vest.
I give you that. I think he trying to wear the large when he needs an extra large. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that type of situation? I got you.
It's snug. Snug, man.
It's very tight.
Here every time, dog. He's just You think he has like prison tattoos that he trying to cover up. Like we get it, it's
Nah,
cold, but you look like
yeah.
he looks concerned. As tight as that jacket is, bro. Breathe for me, big dog. You know? Oh man, okay. So straight into the keep it clean. I'll go first again. Hey, Jerry Judy. Shut your ass up, though. Jerry Judy.
Didn't you fumble it last week?
Thank you. Doing some buffoonery on the field. Last I remember, Denver let you walk. They chose
And what
Cortland
round was
Sutton.
he taking?
Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, Jerry.
Yeah, my bad.
Before, no, I'm with you. Before you go over here and try to get on Shador, I didn't see you say nothing to Joe Flacco. I didn't see you say nothing to Dylan Gabriel. I didn't even see you extend your arms to go make a catch that the rookies are making. Igbuka down there in Tampa doing numbers. Multiple receivers would actually try to extend it and make the play. You wanted once again to make yourself the spotlight. And bro, just shut your ass up, bro. You in Cleveland for a reason. Unless you were drafted there, most people don't just go there willingly. You in Cleveland for a reason. Jerry, sit your ass down, bro. Let Shador develop, please, and move. You're making us look bad. You're making us look bad. Damn, man. Yeah, that's what I got.
I'm on that same tip with you on that, because you didn't see none of that energy with anybody else, but all of a sudden Shador gets a little praise. They got his name throughout the media for a week, and now you over here hollering at him like you didn't have a 40-yard pass where you out here doing all this and mess around and fumbled because you out here calling yourself pretty.
No.
Yeah, we need to calm that down a little bit, just a tad. As far as the rest of the NFL goes, I mean, obviously we talked about it. Great games this weekend as far as the holiday weekend went, but then Sunday was just a little lackluster, if you ask me. The teams who were supposed to win were supposed to win. The only big upset was the Panthers beating the Rams. I don't think anybody had that on their radar going into the season. Not even last week, I would have called that one. But unfortunately, is Carolina kind of turning it around? I don't mean to say unfortunately to Carolina fans. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just talking. But like, y'all know y'all team trash, been trash for some time now. But like, I'm watching. It looks pretty good. I don't know if it's everything, but I know it looks good to you guys because where you've been. What's up?
Also fair points.
Yeah.
I do think in a touch point of it, their offense has developed into what it's supposed to be. And I think them giving away what's my man's name that they sent to Baltimore last year?
Queen, no, Baltimore.
Because
he went to New York. You talking about Burns?
No, they sent him to Baltimore. Remember, because Baltimore was looking for a receiver. He was doing decently in Carolina, but they were so bad they were like, free him. He'd be great anywhere else. And they sent him to Baltimore, and he just kind of disappeared. But he would have been great. Why am I blanking on his name? But he would have been great here during this time. You got Rico Dowdle that has clearly taken over Chuba Hubbard's role. And that's been a transition. It's just more seeing that you need, if you give Bryce Young some time, he'll make great throws in his range. Don't expect the deep ball too crazy. Middle of the field, they are tearing teams apart because you have to respect the run game. The defense is the part that is like, y'all might need a little bit of work. This isn't playoff football with the defense that you have. You're not necessarily stopping people. You're just outscoring.
And that's who I was talking about. I was talking about Burns on the defensive side because his paycheck was coming up and they didn't really want to pay him that money while the team was looking the way that they did. So they sent him to New York. That was the trade that happened all over like the HBO special where the GM was on the phone with the Philadelphia Eagles and all that. Like that happened a year ago. So on the defensive side, his contract.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, there you go. Yes, he bounced around. That's right.
Yes, yeah, Deontay Johnson, because he got to revive his career in Carolina because remember it didn't work out in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Went to Carolina, he was able to get the rock because that Andy Dalton was throwing to him as well. And then they're like, okay, cool. He's back. He's what he's supposed to be. Baltimore needed a receiver. And then I don't know what happened, bro. They waived him. Yeah, bro. Like he's not even, I don't even think he's in the league currently. But yeah, man. Tough. But the Panthers are
look nice. Credit where credit's due. They look nice, man.
Credit where credit's due. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna switch it up this week, man. We're going straight to the NBA. We got four separate topics. You want to touch on 3 point guards that are in need of something different for their career. You want to go towards a point guard that is possibly realizing his career is over. You want to go to a guy that thinks he's a point guard versus the guy that felt like he was a bigger star than what he was. Or you want to go into a Greek saying he's looking to travel.
If we're just touching on points, I would probably do Giannis right now, just because it's a quick conversation.
Hit me with it. What you got?
Everybody saw him delete his post because we all talked about it. Why are you deleting all your posts, man? What's going on? You don't like us no more? What's going on? Like they saw it in real time like everybody else did. So if you're on his team, you know he's gone, or the conversation of him being gone is already happening. Because there's a level of pettiness that it takes to go to your profile and say, you know what? I don't like you no more. This is a breakup. This is when you and old girl have been kicking it. You finally post her. You posted her like 10 times. Next thing you know what? I'm tired of this. And you dip. That means you got to go back to your profile and just clean it up. You got to clean it up. And that's what he's doing right now. He is back on the dating market. So when it comes to this situation, I think we've all heard from his team or representatives or whatever from Shams. He wants to be a New York Knick. That was something that was talked about last year. So if the Milwaukee Bucks are going to do right by Giannis and send him to New York, they can't deplete the team in order to do it, because if they do that, then he's in a tougher position that he's in. But New York is going to have to give up some first-round picks. I don't know how many they got left, because they definitely sent a bunch for Mikal and OG and all this other stuff. But like, they're gonna have to give something up.
Okay. We have a friend that's in our group chat that has been watching me say it for years that Giannis is leaving. Now, was I right initially when I said it? No, but timing is everything. I still stuck to it no matter which way it was sliced. They got the family photo. I said it. They got the family photo. You got the brothers on the team just to say, hey, we all were on the same team together. We dressed out, matched uniforms. Cool. And you started looking elsewhere. The Knicks don't make sense to me. I'm thinking that he's leaving because he wants to win. I'm not saying you can't with New York, but I just don't think it's beneficial to him or New York in the long run. However, if you have a possibility to get rid of Cat, I'm taking it too. 10 out of 10 times. If you got Brunson and Giannis, that makes perfect sense. I honestly thought that we would see more effort from Houston and before they signed KD. I thought OKC would take their shot at him. I thought San Antonio would go there. Now,
I mean, it's not over.
It's not over. But if he's saying he wants to go to New York, where my thought process is like, I don't know if that's necessarily you wanting to win, or is it more on the business side because we know what comes with going to New York City. I also don't think, though, at the same time, that I've never looked at Giannis as a marketing guy. He can be marketed, but unfortunately, it's like he's just one of them situations of understanding what it is. He's not necessarily the guy that's going to convince you to go buy a fashion brand, right? There's certain brands about him. It's just he's built like that, but the voice doesn't say do a lot of commercials. Just because of the accent, he doesn't necessarily have the look per se, and his personality is still more mellow, being a family guy, which is dope. I don't see it for New York. I might have seen it a little bit better if he was talking about going to LA. I could see you pulling that off in LA, more of that crowd, but New York, doesn't make sense to me for, at least from my perspective, for either team outside of the very, very near future for New York. Brunson's going to be there for a while. He wants to be there. I think you do have to gut the team. If you don't give up picks, you give up OG, Cat. Like maybe they let you get away with Mitchell Robinson. Maybe.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Look,
I'm sorry.
They will,
I'm sorry.
the
No,
Bucks,
no.
the Bucks willingly gave the pathway to Kyle Kuzma. I can't take anything off the table. I can't.
I get you. But then, to me, there's two options here that make sense. So the Knicks, I know you're questioning, like, why the Knicks? Like, is this more of like a marketing move, or is this more of like a personnel move? The Knicks are on the cusp, but they're not there yet. And so I think Giannis would feel better internally winning a championship with the Knicks rather than being traded to somewhere like OKC. OKC doesn't need any help, right? They can still probably run the table with the team they have now, because they're proving yet again this season where they left off from last year, going, hey, we can run the table again. So if they don't necessarily need him, he can go to a team that still has the potential to win a championship, but they just need an extra push. And I think that Giannis is saying, I can be that push. Because I don't think that he would do a situation where he would go to OKC and then be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, I think he has more of a mentality of kind of like the older heads, like a Kobe, where he's like, I want to go somewhere and I want to be the guy that like helps get them over the hump or whatever. Like, I don't see this like a Golden State move with KD. I see this more of like him going somewhere to help them because they need that extra little push. Now, I think he likes the East too. I think he kind of likes that conference. And so with him already winning a championship in that conference, I think he knows what it takes. So I think he's looked at the New York Knicks as the most viable option for him to say, hey, this is where I can go win a championship.
Okay. Because I'm not mad at least this initial year. If he goes there, are they automatically the favorites out of the East?
Yeah.
Okay, because it is an open market. So I'm asking. I don't know if I don't think another team is geared up like that. So you get the immediate win. And I guess transitioning to the New York environment, like it's hard to lose if you're there. I just don't see the marketing play myself. But I understand what you're saying now, because like you wouldn't even really want to go to a San Antonio if Wemby's the guy. You could shake hands with Steph, get him a ring, and then escort him out, and then you become the face. That's an easy transition.
He wants to play with Steph. So I see that as another viable option. He wants to play with Steph. You give up Kuminga, you give up Dre or whatever it needs to get done for the deal to be done. Bye. Yeah, that would be you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure Warrior fans would be butthurt, but then they would also like flip the switch and be like, but we have Giannis to look at. So like they'd be perfectly fine. And then that also helps your franchise in Golden State move on from Steph once he's gone. So like it's a good placeholder to win now, and it also helps you in the future. So it's a great move for Golden State. But as far as assets, as far as what the calling price is going to be for Giannis, that is where things get sticky, because it's like, okay, we want him, everybody wants him, but what's the price? Does it mean that my team, like, I love when KD was on the starting five and he's like, I didn't want to get traded to a team where it was going to completely deplete the team. He's like, I didn't want another Golden State where you'd have to literally gut the team for me to be there, and then we're struggling because we don't have anything. So I think Giannis is in that same perception of like, I know I can come help, but I don't want to be on a team where I'm basically playing now.
Someone had brought it up in another chat that I'm in. What about Dallas? What do you feel about Dallas if he went out there?
Dallas is just I mean, excuse my French, Dallas is just a shit show right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that he can't go out there and help, but like, it just feels like it's so chaotic over there. And I'm not sure Giannis would want to attach himself to that. And also the possibility that Dallas may not be in Dallas in the next 5 years. Like, I'm not sure he would want to really attach himself to that. Just feels like too much drama that people don't really want to be a part of.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I think you have to give up Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Because Cooper Flag's not going, and I'm not sure if Milwaukee would want him or if he would want to go with Kyrie. But a Giannis and Cooper Flag building towards the future seemed to be the idea, and you have a Kyrie there for maybe a year or two, something along those lines. But
the problem is he wants to win now.
That too. And
so
I don't think
he wants to go rebuild anywhere because he could do that in Milwaukee. He could stay there until they figure out the cap space and Dame's contract goes up and all this other stuff. He could stay there and figure that out. I don't think he's wanting to do that. Exactly.
It's Milwaukee.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's get to the thing that Giannis tends to avoid most times, the drama, man. Draymond versus Kenyon. Kenyon Martin. Draymond Green. Can you tell me what started it? I might have missed this. What?
So the conversation always comes up with Draymond about what he means, because Hall of Fame conversation comes up. Obviously, Draymond's a Hall of Famer. Can't really deny that based off of what he's done with the team and all that. There's not many 4-time champions that don't get admitted into the Hall of Fame. It's then when it gets broken down, because it was the Gills Arena podcast, it gets broken down to what he means to the team. And, if you were to put him somewhere else, would he have the same effect? All that starts to kind of come into the conversation, and then that's where things get a little sticky. Then, of course, you've got Kenyon and Nick going at it across the couch, which is just pure comedy to me because they both antagonize the mess out of each other. And it's just funny to see, that like it's real tension that you can see, but I'm sure they're fine off camera. They're probably not homeboys hanging out, but like you can see that tension while they're talking. Nick always talks to Kenyon a little sideways.
I think one is a little bit hesitant about trying the other. Nick
is always scared about trying Kenyon, and for good reason. Kenyon is like licensed hands. So like I get it. Even as an older guy, you probably may not want to push that button too many times if I was him. But for the sake of the conversation, it always turns to what would he be on someone else's team. He's not really the value of a player that you would want on your team now and all this. And so it just gets into a heated conversation, but it definitely started at Gills Arena.
Okay. If there is somebody that's right, who is it?
Well, I love how you pose this question to me first, but if I'm teetering the line here and I have to choose one, now this is me talking, right? My team, my squad. I want Kenyon. You're scared of him. He imposes his will on the game while he's there. When he's healthy, right? If we're talking New Jersey Nets, Kenyon Martin, like, bro, give me him all day. Like, he was the literal post presence that you needed in order to make sure you defended the rim. No one came in there smiling, thinking that they got anything sweet because he either blocked it crazy off the backboard because he was stupid athletic, or he made you hit the ground just as hard as you got up, just to make sure that you knew anytime you came in there, you weren't going to get that from him. And it wasn't like he cared about fines or anything like that. Like Kenyon swung on people. Like it wasn't a question of like, oh man, shut up, da da da. Like you said something cross to him and a cross was coming your way. You know what I mean? So like that's the type of player that I would want if I was looking at my squad. But that doesn't devalue what Draymond does for Golden State. Like he is the perfect fit for Golden State because of how he plays. Why would I shoot the ball when I had the top 1 and 2 shooters of the world on my team? I'm taking shots away from them. Their field goal percentage is 70% higher letting the ball rip than me shooting at 30 to 40%. So I get that like notion and understanding. Kenyon used to still get you points on a consistent basis. So as well as he defended the rim, he could still go get it. And you throw up the lob, you do everything else. Like, he was a very versatile player. Kenyon talks about, being a number one pick, all that type of stuff. We didn't really see the talk that he's talking about, like Cincinnati and all that, because we were young. We were watching Kobe and Shaq just beat up on him. So, not to say he's not that good, but like the Kenyon we saw was injured or had to play Shaq. And that's not his fault. Nobody could do anything with Shaq. So
Yeah.
if
Okay.
I'm asking, I'm on Kenyon, but where are you at?
I'm presenting for this conversation once again. It usually comes up in a different debate, but this one makes it more interesting. Is everything about rings?
No.
Because if he doesn't, rings are 80% of Draymond's argument, if not 90. I don't know if Kenyon was wrong with the 50 players he listed. I don't think yes, was he being facetious with Popeye Jones? Sure.
Yes.
But then he proceeded to list 3 other ones, not including himself, as better players than you. So are we having a career conversation? Are we having a player skill conversation? And the tough part with Kenyon, because I'm with you. If you're telling me to start a team, I know what Draymond meant, and I do agree that he's pivotal. I don't agree with the magnitude of where they're placing him in pivotal, because similar to what you were saying with Kenyon, there's 2 parts. There's a rewrite in history that makes it seem like the only reason his points weren't there was because he chose to take a backseat. He did choose to take a backseat. His jump shot also dove off of a cliff, right? So you couldn't shoot. So yes, you are simultaneously. 2 things were true at the same time. You're passing the ball to 2 of the greatest shooters that we've seen arguably ever. You also just lost. I don't know if we have the science study out yet, but what happened to Draymond's offensive scoring abilities, right? So I say that to also add, even for the defensive piece that we give him, because he is this era's Rodman, I would say, you also had a lockdown defender in Klay Thompson with you at all times. For the bulk of
that's not talked about enough.
That's not talked about enough for the bulk of your rings. And I think that's not talked about just because we're seeing the downslide of Klay's career. The downslide of Klay's career has also elevated Draymond's perception to the people, right? But you had Klay out there for the bulk of your rings. You had Iggy out there for the bulk of your rings as a defender, with Sean Livingston providing help off the bench, sometimes being mixed in with your squad, right? So it's not like you were just the
guy,
defender. And now, so even by the time you get to the death lineup, you're playing small ball. You're out of position. You're out of position. You could guard the center, but we know you for coming in as a small forward.
Right.
You couldn't crack it with the small forwards. During your time frame, which is different than Kenyon's, from 2000 to 2010 was the post era. Power forwards, centers. 2010s going forward, because of what Steph did, you started shifting to guards. But I would say the early 2010 to about 15, 16 was really the small forward. KD, Kawhi, LeBron, Rudy Gay.
Stretch
you have
4.
All these names. You couldn't guard them.
Yeah.
You couldn't guard them. So you moving down is great, but now when you move down, you have help in the essence of, and I don't want to take away. I do want to give you this. You are a great rebounder. You are a stellar rebounder as Draymond Green, especially being undersized. But you have guards out there guarding your guards. And that is a benefit. On the flip side, Kenyon is you played with at least 4, maybe 5 of the top 5 power forwards during your era. Not only were you getting beat up by Shaq, you were losing to Tim the next year. Like, I give you credit because you got to the finals twice. You were losing to 2 dynasties happening.
Mhm.
You can't even hate him because even after he leaves New Jersey, he had a great tenure in Denver.
Mhm.
You got to play with Carmelo, yes. You also got to play with, you had Marcus Camby being back there, changes a lot. Marcus Camby hovering around there does change a lot. I don't miss that. You got a young
Yeah.
J.R. Smith, but you were also very much crucial to that team as well.
Right.
Because I'm with you. By the time
I
we
played
started
with them
watching
on 2K. That was a
all the
squad.
time, that was the
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
squad to play with. All
yeah,
right. Like,
yeah.
I don't remember your Cincinnati days. I'll be honest. Like, I at least I wasn't a college basketball watcher. I would have been
We were too
9,
young.
8,
We were
but
too
I'm
young.
aware of the NBA. You were also getting mobbed on because Jason Kidd didn't discover that jumper that won him a championship ring later on down the line yet. People think of you as if you were with Vince. You went there with Richard Jefferson, and that's no knock to Richard. Vince wasn't there yet. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Vince wasn't there
yeah.
yet. So you did something that can't be laughed at. You went to the finals and you lost to monsters. You didn't just
Yes.
lose to nobody casual. You aren't getting knocked out of the playoffs. You're not Paul Pierce that's only in this conversation because KG finally showed up. Because if not, like, you were beating them and getting there. You're getting past the AI Sixers. You're getting past the Vince Carter Raptors. You're
Mhm.
getting past people. So I can't take that away. Draymond's rings seem to bear so much weight, and I don't want to discredit the rings, but you may be talking about a situation. It's like you have your cake baked with Steph and Clay. That is the cake. Adding icing is a benefit.
Mhm.
He's icing.
Mhm.
The cake is there, but
Right.
I don't like the impression and the perception of, yeah, he was so pivotal they couldn't win without him.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
say
crazy.
that's not true. As much as I can also say that we can possibly lean towards it is true either way, because I know you were in talks of being traded for Ben Simmons at the time that was still hooping. We were more scared of that because you
Right.
lost your jumper than we were of you being there.
Right.
2022 gave him great validation for this conversation, though. That 2022 ring is probably carrying the most weight because it did look like it was Steph and Draymond, because Clay was kind of still coming back, wasn't fully
Mhm.
him, but that would also
Mhm.
be discrediting Jordan Poole
Right.
and his contribution. So I might side as as egotistical as it is of what Kenyon Martin is saying. I don't think he's wrong, but I also don't understand. You didn't have to shoot like that to start this, but don't with all due respect, don't be Kenny the Jet Smith, because you have your rings, Kenny. You've been a winner your entire life. You won at
Mhm.
UNC. We know it took Jordan retiring and Akeem Olajuwon. You were there. You helped. You did your part. But
Mhm.
you should never be talking to me like you were the piece. And that's
Mhm.
where sometimes I respect Chuck. Chuck was the piece. He didn't win, but he's the piece. So when
Mhm.
Shaq is saying, what about these rings? It hits a little bit heavier than when Kenny, I got two. You did, with the only other name mentioned out of the 90s that's not Michael Jordan.
Right.
You
You
know,
rode the dream to a chip. Yeah.
Kenny Smith, Derek Fisher, Draymond Green.
Mhm.
You're a piece. Don't talk to me like you were the piece. That's all I'm
Got it.
saying. Am I,
Got it.
as Kenyon, am I in the top 10 of these power forwards? Nah, bro. It got dark so fast.
I wanted to talk about that for like 2 seconds, because when you
Go
brought
ahead.
that up, it made me think about it. I was like, yo, he was in an era where like power forwards were on fire. Like you listed just a couple just because they're big names. I mean, obviously you got KG, you have Tim Duncan, but like You want to talk about some other names that were really prevalent in the 2000s? Chris
Oh
Webber
shoot,
is a
Elton Brand, Chris
you
Webber,
know what I'm saying? Like these are
Dirk,
names that we Hito
Carlos
Turkoglu. Like
Boozer.
there's some names that like we haven't even pulled out of the hat, and he had to deal with them on a nightly basis. So like Kenyon
You know
didn't get a break, fam. You know, like when
that
he showed up to practice and he told coach he didn't want to practice because he was tired, he was actually tired because every night he had to see a different matchup. And then
come
don't let
on.
it be a switch where he had to guard the 5, where he had to guard Shaq or somebody because everybody else was scared. So he would then have to take the assignment, and then he would get beat up for a whole game and then have to go play somebody else. Like, yeah, that's not fair.
You had Sheed still out there roaming.
A
Like you
young
were
a
playing
young Sheed?
a
Come on,
young
man.
Sheed. You're playing monsters, right? So even if
Night
you
in,
say,
night
well,
out.
he wasn't even the best of his era, bro, did you see his era? Like, that might have been arguably the best power
Yeah.
forward era.
Through the
So
2000s for sure.
can't take that away. So it's like if you still banged with them, you got to the finals twice, and you weren't a slouch in Denver. That's it. I respect your rings. You're Kenny.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
Kenny. Derek Fisher, applaud you. You're not Robert Horry. Saying Robert Horry was disrespectful to whoever started that. Like there's Rob, then there's the Derricks, then there's the Kobe Shaqs, right?
Hey man.
Separation.
All you know is Big Shot Rob. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He done saved every franchise he was on. I'm just saying.
And Kenyon never backed down from a fight. Word to Abe, you said that. We do look at you different because I just know in the sport that we love, we are hoopers at heart, that you heard worse than you're just a backpack for 30 that you didn't try to punch somebody in the face for. So it's hard to just be like, yeah, man, even for the bravado piece, you do receive hate from your own doing that is infiltrating this conversation. I never seen Kenyon Martin kick somebody in the balls. I haven't seen as many nutcrackers outside of Christmas besides Draymond Green that you have. There's just other pieces, but
Hey, when
there's
Kenyon
a lot of
said
pride.
if you call me a BAS, that means that you want to fight. That means that you want to go blow for blow. And everybody on the couch was like, no, that's not what that means. That's exactly what that means.
That's exactly what that
When
means.
you call somebody out their name like that, that means you looking for some type of smoke. The only problem was when you said something like that to Kenyon, he was bringing it to you. It wasn't a question of like, what'd you say? He heard you. He's coming your way. So that's the only difference.
I want to. You hoop. You play sports. We've traveled in our hooping days. What region was cool with? Maybe because I'm missing it. I don't know, man. Like majority of the days was in Texas, but I didn't see Vegas. I didn't see Florida. I didn't hoop in Jersey. I'm just trying, did a Vancouver. I'm just trying to figure out when was saying that not what it meant, and where was I? Where was it location? I'm just trying to see. Do you have a different experience?
That's been my experience. I think you and I both know. If anything remotely close to that was being called my way, I was bringing it to their attention and I was moving closer to that person so that way I could let them know how I felt. So that one never was good for me. So I don't know.
Who's comfortably saying that? I've never seen them on the court.
That's how we trash talk. I've never heard that one on the basketball floor where it wasn't meant for smoke.
And especially because most of the times the closest I see that coming out one or two ways. First, anytime you hoop outside, you might hear something wild. That's just understood because you're already outside, right?
Yeah.
I think that's more frequent to happen on an outside court ever.
The sun killing my brains, like brain cells, like all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Second is if a woman is in the nearby vicinity, you're going to hear that and you already know prize on the line. So you're not saying it positively, which lets you know that I know where we're at once that statement enters the atmosphere. right? If you counted every time that's something like that was said, and you did a head on the swivel, and the amount of times that women were in the vicinity is somewhere in the high 80s, high 80%. Man, but
Oh man.
perception based, bro. They clip Chris, CP3. I want to
Talk
present two
about an
thoughts.
organization that got some issues. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like I think there's two things to this. I want to start with what happened, because at least from the understanding that we're all getting as they release the news, he was very vocal about players, staff, and management. Because right now the Clippers are doing terribly. So if your players, staff, and management, Tyrone Lue and you allegedly weren't even on speaking terms for the last couple of weeks, right? And they fired you. They flew out to Atlanta. They pulled him to the crib and said, "My man's." They flying from LA to Atlanta, like, "Hey, big dog, hey," and they cut him. So, what are your thoughts on that? And then I have a follow-up question. I feel it, based on what we're seeing, it might be time to have the official convo.
Okay. So dismissing this man or sending him home, because they haven't officially cut him, I don't think. But sending him home might as well be the same thing.
Right.
It's supposed to be his farewell tour. He's not Kobe. Okay. So I hate to give you the speech, but they don't love you like that. Right. I think fans, as basketball fans, we love him because we literally refer to him as point guard. Right. Like that's been his nickname throughout basketball. That's how we refer to him mainly. So we love him as basketball players. So I think it's very disrespectful to like his legacy, especially as a Clipper, that they would send him home just because they're having a disagreement. We're men. We got to figure this out. We got to talk it out. We got to, come to some type of agreement. That being said, as much as we love Chris as a basketball player, we've heard from other basketball players that it's hard to be in the locker room with Chris. So if you're in the locker room with this 40-year-old man, right, 39, 38, whatever, like he's pushing it, and you're talking to, the 28-year-old or the 30-year-old who can actually affect the game, you want to help them. You want to help, like he's been doing, right? He's been doing his tour of helping teams and helping young players improve. Shea literally regards him to the high, all that type of stuff. But you're on a team with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. I can't think of two other players that don't really care about what you got to say. And then you're yapping and you're telling them how they need to be doing this and the organization is jacked up and all this stuff. You're not the GM. You're supposed to be riding this wave on the way out so they can wave at you, see your last game, and then move this on along. I think this is a year too long for him. Honestly, I think it was better to see him be productive on like a San Antonio Spurs team where he was actually helping them grow rather than watch him rot on the sideline for the Clippers.
You're right about everything that the player said. I think it's funny to throw the joke and make it seem like the farewell tour, he's in the, we'll say, Paul Pierce category, right? He's not down that bad. Like you said, we refer to him as the point guard. And you also have this he has a benefit too of, even if you're not in tune with basketball, he's on a lot of these State Farm commercials. So we do got like he's
Cliff
probably
Paul.
more loved on that side than within the hoop world, at least as personality goes, right? You do the bowling tour, you're in demographics that aren't purely hoop related and may not be related to it at all. So to see this happen, you have the history right now, though, is a potential broken clock that's right one of the two times of the day, because they are bums in this current moment. I don't know who he was saying it to, because in my head it's like I can't see, and from what we hear about at least particularly Kawhi, Chris going over there saying something crazy to Kawhi, because when Kawhi is active, he is active. There's no ifs, ands,
Mm-hmm.
or buts about it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
James, though, I agree with you. I can see that one. I can see that one not going well after a comment or two, and it'd be really hard to say something to him because the numbers you would think James Harden cares again, and he's caring while losing. If that's what it took
Mm-hmm.
for him to care, that's just an odd player. Like he's almost looking like Verge Houston James Harden again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So maybe he said something. Like, could you be mad? Imagine you in the locker room and Chris Paul, you get to talking. You a younger player, right? Or I'll even say you a vet. We got 6 years in, right? And Chris get to talking, and you say something along the lines. And I know y'all losers because you have to remember I was here before and we lost. Like some wild like that. We were losers then.
Yeah.
We're more of a loser now. And because he's seen the mountaintop with the Clippers, or the Clippers seen their mountaintop with him.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers seen their mountaintop with him.
Mm-hmm.
I see where the arrogance might have kicked into. I can
Mm-hmm.
understand how that picks up.
This
Does he
his
get
gym.
picked up from somebody else?
He built this. He built the foundation that the Clippers have right now to even be relevant. That's what he's probably thinking in that locker room. I don't want to speak for him. I don't. But I do feel in agreement with you. There's some arrogance there. And it's CP. But the other part that gets me too, though, if he can make it work with Steve Kerr for a season, and he hated Steve Kerr, right? We saw that beef in real time.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that he can't make it work with Kawhi and Tyronn Lue? The fact that your coach wasn't talking to you for a couple of weeks, I think that's baloney as far as you can stretch it. But if that's true, like Tyronn Lue's showing up to practice and not talking to Chris Paul for 2 weeks, come on, man, what are we doing?
They said
This
personal.
is a
They
soap
did
opera.
clarify. They did say
That
like
what they
off,
say?
like personal off court. Like they didn't have a relationship other than it's
Okay,
business. Hey,
I'm
you
about to
go.
say you got to tell them the next
Yeah.
drill or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to talk at some point throughout the day. But
Yeah.
if you can see the tension, it's awkward. He's going out of his way not to talk to Chris. That's still the same thing. But it's just like I feel like Tyronn Lue is like I don't know. I'm talking like I know, but like I feel like he's not that petty. But maybe he is.
Does he get picked up elsewhere?
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else will pick him up.
Who
Somebody
you
else will
see?
give him a roster spot.
Who you see?
If OKC didn't have to give up a roster spot to get him, I would have seen someplace like him going to OKC because of the love Shea has for him. I could see San Antonio going back to grab him real quick, just be like, hey, let's just do this one more time. Again, Chris Paul is not all rainbows and sunshine, so I could see a lot of teams being like, no thanks, It sucks because it's his last year. He announced it this year that this is his last year. He thought he was just going to run it out with the Clippers. And I think there's a chance that he still can, a very slim chance. But yeah, anybody who needs a mentor right now, a veteran presence mentor, I can see them going to grab him. That wants his feedback.
Yeah. So do we start that? We finally might be coming to the point of having that full-on conversation. Where does he rank in all-time point guards?
Also, too, real quick, I'm not trading for Chris Paul knowing that he's retiring at the end of the season. That's just me.
Yeah,
so they gotta release him. I gotta
Yeah.
pick him up. Like I want that to be very clear. I'm not trading for Chris Paul. No team.
Yeah.
Where does he rank amongst all point guards?
Point guards. Because he was already
Top
in
10?
the conversation.
Top 10?
Could he make top 5? Or 3? 5 or 3?
Without running down the list, I don't want to say anything that wild. And it's crazy to say that's wild when we literally call him the point guard, but like I think I think there's enough. Like, I mean, unfortunately, Steph is a point guard. Like,
Okay.
sucks.
Could you
Magic
put Chris
Johnson,
above Magic? Could you put Chris above Magic?
no,
Could you put him above John Stockton?
probably not.
Isaiah Thomas?
Probably not.
Dame Lillard?
Yeah.
Gary Payton?
Ooh, yes.
Okay.
Hesitantly. Glove was serious.
Glove was serious.
But if I'm talking about like aspects and like what you do for the game, I'm going CP3. Now, what they should be giving him the top player of for the NBA is getting people paid. The boy was in the CBA making sure all these max extension contracts for himself as well. But like he was making sure all those elevated contracts were coming in and not a question about it was had. So if you want to talk about what Chris Paul has done for the game, he's done some crazy things on the court, but making sure them contracts off the court too, we're looking just as nice.
That's a fact. Jason Kidd?
Yeah, he's a better point guard than Jason Kidd.
Steve Nash?
Yes.
Tony Parker?
No.
I think I'm going to say unfortunately because I love him.
Yeah.
But we're possibly looking at somebody else rounding that corner, Russell Westbrook.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Yes. Triple double, like literal king. Yeah, for sure.
Chris Paul's better than Russ.
No, opposite. Russ is better than Chris Paul. Yes.
Okay. Penny? I'm trying to exhaust the ones I have at the top of my head.
Yeah. I'll leave that for the old heads, but I don't know Penny the way they do. And his potential of what he could have been with him being injured, we'll never know. We saw Chris Paul be healthy and play, healthy as a stretch as well, because for him, when playoffs came several times, he got hurt. But we've seen more on tape for Chris Paul than we have for Penny, so I'd have to go Chris.
Okay. So if I remember, I didn't get them all, but he it sounds like you might have him, or you be able to spot him 7 to 10.
That's a top 10, easy. I don't think
okay.
I can put him in the top 5. I don't think I can, because like I said, going over that list right there, you just named off like John Stockton, Steph Curry, Isaiah,
Magic.
Russ, like Magic. Like these are names that I would toss into the top 5 without really having a problem. And I can argue that with most people. But saying that he's better than like Magic Johnson or Steph Curry, yeah, you might as well just skip that.
Okay. He do got crazy stats. But I understand.
He does.
Well,
yeah.
So point guards that are trying to figure it out. Is this the make or break season for the Jaws, Trae Youngs, and Lamelo Balls of the world?
I think even when you said that, you could hear it in your own self. Like, yeah, it is, because we're at a crossroads for a few of them. Trae Young, he's a great offensive player, and I think most people would agree. I mean, he goes into the Garden and he always has a fun time, But as far as his defense is non-existent. And he's a smaller guard, so he's going to be taken advantage of in certain situations, especially on a switch. And most point guards are 6'4", 6'5". So that's just that. You're at Atlanta. Atlanta's really not doing anything crazy. Now, Jalen Johnson, that's looking like a really good pickup for you guys right now. But, I mean, it's time to kind of figure out what's happening, because the mediocre thing, I think a lot of teams are just tired of, right? So Charlotte, as mediocre as they've been for however long they've been, it looks like they're actually tired of it. and they're finding these draft picks that are coming in that are kind of helping them, and they're like, okay, so we're looking for our star guy to lead them, and their star guy right now is Lamelo. I think he's a great talent. I think that he's a great, point guard and all that stuff. I mean, all-star point guard easily, but he's just not in the right situation.
Right.
I think Melo needs to be around some vets. The same thing I think Trae needs to be around some vets.
Okay. Does the same go? Are they on the same tier as Ja? And while you think about that, I'm going to respond with the first two. I don't think Trae is as bad as they're saying. I think he peaked in a way that was overachieving, so he's being punished for it. Not that he has done the best,
right?
But you got to the Eastern Conference Finals,
right?
So you peaked higher than even a lot of your draft class very fast. So not even making the playoffs in following years does look a particular way, where it would have been understandable if you were Verge, you weren't making the playoffs, Verge like last couple seed teams, and then you had the trajectory to go up. You peaked really fast and then like you dove low. But I do still think he, out of the three we mentioned, has possibly the cleanest trade value. I think Lamelo has the best trade value because of the potential talent. But just, you don't have to think too much of it. I think Trae Young's still one of those pieces like, yeah, of course, if somebody's trading for him, it makes sense. You're not doubting it because you know exactly what he is. And once he's on, if he's not injured, he's a go. Lamelo, on the other hand, is you got all the talent, and maybe it's just your face. Like maybe it's just the mug, but I can't tell if you're serious. And that bothers me because of the narrative that Charlotte has had circulating around them all the way up until pretty much like you said this year. Now it looks like they're taking it serious. And you got Knupel over here. He's rookie of the year, clearly, as we speak. He is the runaway rookie of the year as of today. Right. And I think probably the best Duke product we've seen since Kyrie. I lied. Jason Tatum went to Duke. I'm not that egregious. I'm sorry.
I was gonna let it ride. But yeah, I appreciate you clearing
even
that
I'm
up.
not that egregious. I was trying to skip Zion just because we don't have enough product.
Right.
But not all the way back to Kyrie. But with Charlotte trying to figure something out. You can trade for Lamelo, but I'm thinking of if we're thinking of the teams that are winning or in the best position to win, I also think of the structure, the culture, and more specifically the coaching. What locker room does he fit in for a winning team? I'm not saying he can't. I just haven't seen it or knowing if you're serious. So with that being said, what locker room is taking you in?
It's a good question.
Don't think so. I don't think like Houston already made their decisions. Houston wants real crash outs if they're gonna go there, right? They've shown that. The Pistons are coming into form and they look all right. Like I'm thinking the people around your draft class. That Memphis would laugh at you. If they're laughing at Ja, they're gonna laugh at you. I don't know. I don't know where to go on that. And then even for the Ja train, I need to know if you're healthy. Is he not healthy? Is there something that they're not saying? It's kind of what it feels like. Because with him, I get the off-court stuff, but I don't think if he's healthy and can still be healthy, maybe you're not trying to jump out the gym, but every athlete goes through that. We've seen that. At least we're not walking away with torn ACLs or anything right now, knock on wood. But if he's healthy, he can still somewhat figure out a bucket. He's just a little bit more streaky than the other two. Does he have the lowest value? So back to the question I was asking you, where are they as bad as him? Is he in the same bucket? Is it overhyped for how bad it is for Ja? And then when you look at the three, how would you rank them? Like if you're a team, you're going for something, and I'm gonna go top four each side. The top four, Cleveland, you're the Golden States, you're the Bostons, you're the New Yorks, you're Denver, Houston, any of those style of teams. Or if you want to go playoff team, would you be trying to get them?
So to answer the first question, I think that they're on the same level because of what they bring to the table. Ja is not a great guard without his athleticism.
Okay.
Trae is not a great defender, but he's a hell of an offensive player. And then Lamelo is a great offensive playmaker as well, because he definitely helps open up the floor to get everybody else going. Haven't really seen him step up defensively, but I'm not going to say he's a traffic cone either. But he's a smaller guard as far as weight and all that goes, so he definitely can get pushed around a little. But what he can do, he does with his hands. So honestly, if we're looking at the situation, LaMelo's the best player, and it's a fight for second and third in this conversation, which is wild in my opinion, because it always felt like Ja was just like one thing away from being spectacular. Now, does a change of scenery kind of help him? I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that kind of helps him out. But right now, as we're talking, he's not looking great. The team isn't looking great, and his value doesn't look great. Right. So if I'm a top team in the East or the West, I would try to go for LaMelo. And then if I can't get LaMelo, I go get Trae. Right now, I don't want to touch Ja. And that's just my opinion.
And that's tough too, because I do think it's the point that you made. It's very well known everywhere in the world that Memphis and Ja aren't liking each other right now.
Right.
So the motivation may not be there. Like, and everybody else knows that. It's like, I don't have to send anything crazy because y'all are telling me the value of how you feel about each other in real time.
Right. That's hurting both parties. That's not just hurting Ja. That's hurting both parties.
Yeah.
Right.
So because now you're it shouldn't sound like that, but you're essentially stuck with him. I might go Trae first.
Okay.
Then LaMelo. And the only reason I'm not going, I got to know if he's healthy. I don't know if Ja is healthy. I'm concerned there because you have been hurt a lot recently.
Right.
And I'm better off taking my risk where Trae is like, I feel more confident in Trae coming in, and it's just an easy plug and play situation where he's still going to be motivated to get his numbers. I think you have to adjust to LaMelo, and he has to adjust to you.
Yes.
And what that adjustment looks like, it has a margin for error that I might not be comfortable with, because while Trae may not play defense, Trae at least looks like he's serious in the face when he's trying to play defense, where I don't, you know what I'm saying, with LaMelo.
Your whole problem is LaMelo's face. And I get it.
I've also seen your defense. So when they're blowing by you and you have to, like, don't look at me like this, and you just let 6 points go by you and lay up for him.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
I got it.
I can't do it. All right. We gonna try to swing upwards from here. So let's get it out the way. Let's get it out the way, man. We done with the NBA talks. We going to college football. You cry a little bit. We here for you. Bring it in. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just get it out the way. We can move on. NCAA.
I've already given them the. Let me get in front of this. We've already given them their flowers. I've already said this at the start of the episode, but I'm gonna just say it since we're on the college topic. We did not play our best game. Ohio State handled it. They handled it well. That touchdown that was fumbled in the end zone was not a touchdown. I'm gonna say that because everybody saw that on TV. So it's not as if I'm just a Michigan fan and conspiracy and it was no. It happened. Okay. That does not determine a win or a loss, though. I don't believe that. I believe you should never be in a position to where you could have lost to begin with. That's my old school philosophy from Pops. So for me, that touchdown shouldn't have turned the game over. However, we know things do affect the game. I wished we would have been able to at least score a touchdown. I didn't like the fact that we were touchdownless, that we kicked 3 field goals and we looked really good the first quarter, and then the rest of the game just looked defeated. So I will say, again, praise to Ryan Day for taking care of his team, making sure they got off the field, no planting the flag, all that stuff. Looks like Michigan was looking for us to smoke if they were trying to, which I am all for. But that is also fruit from the same tree that we planted. We planted the flag in their stadium last year. Their whole team was trying to fight us. Makes sense. But yeah, I don't love how this went down, but with Ohio State being the number 1 team in the country, I'd rather we lose to them in that sense than them being like out of the playoffs and not even being a part of the conversation and we lose too. I'll take one over the other.
Okay, fair. I will start really quick. Jamel, you're not slick. I know why you missed this episode. We talked to you before the pod, talking about you're stressed at work. Hey, you're not stressed at work, Jamel. We know why you missed this episode, and it's okay. You weren't ready to keep it clean with yourself, but I could keep it clean with you. We got hugs here, but we know why you missed this episode, my brother. What I will say, otherwise, the confidence didn't feel the same to start the game from the Michigan we've seen for the last 4 years. I don't know why it was different, but it was just it was a different demeanor going into this game, and it almost it felt like you had a team that was scared of the big bad wolf, that also had the pressure of y'all have won this for 4 straight. We can't be the team that messes up. So they played more to not lose than they played to win. And the hesitancy of, again, you, like you said earlier, you got the number 1 QB recruit. Let him throw that joint. But they're also adjusting to opening up that offense, something that you've even mentioned numerous times in the last couple of weeks. So you weren't there yet. And this was the game that you needed to be there to match on all cylinders for just in case. So if we're not threatened by the run game and it's snowing and it's cold, not only is the defense is constricting like your blood flow all at the same time. And so now it's a put up or shut up moment, and it looked a little bit different. And Ohio State didn't even look like they wanted it. They look mechanical. They look like a well-oiled machine. Like that was just let's do what we do. Because I don't think they like their quarterback. I think they just are comfortable with the position that they're in based on some of the QBs we've seen over the last few years. I'm sure he gets a little bit more praise because he pulled off a win that they haven't seen in 5 years. But that team just, I didn't see the emotion. It seemed like they was at best clenching their assholes until they saw 0-0-0 on the scoreboard. And then it got to the talking. But that's when I'm also looking at it as like, nah, because the real rivalry, you supposed to at least try to get to the logo. Like nobody tried. There wasn't a crash out that didn't play on the sideline that was willing to risk it off.
There was a few people trying. Ryan Day was out there, but there was a few people out there trying. They caught it on film. It circulated.
It wasn't real trying. It was more like, oh yeah, I'm saying what's up to people as I maneuver. Like you weren't honest about it. You weren't trying to get over there.
Because the coaches were on the field, they knew it. They had that conversation, 10 minutes before the end of the game. Like they were all on that.
Look, they did get an album cover off on y'all though. They did. They got an album cover off on y'all, man. Sitting in the stands while the team looking up at them. I'm sorry, man. That was hard. that was a tough pick, especially when you get the one where it doesn't have the score at the bottom. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. You might see that on a 30 for 30 before our lifetime's over. Mickey is cooking something up right now just to do a whole documentary on y'all's rivalry.
Just make sure you show the 4 years before that before you start spinning on them records.
And then I'm gonna show them the week and a half before when you had that red hoodie on. I told you. I told you.
Y'all see it made it to the intro too, right? He think he's slick with that, but he's not. No. But for some reason, the red hoodie one made it. Anyways, and also too to make a valid point, Bryce, I'm not mad at. Like I said, we've seen the progression for him all year. Not mad at him for that. I do know why he could not throw the ball that much. All of our running game was gone. Our number one running back this year went down a few weeks ago. And then the running back that backed him up got hurt in the first series, like second series, something like that.
Yeah.
We had one running back the entire game. That was it. We had one running back the entire game because we have no more backups. We're depleted. So in order to pass the ball, you have to open up the run. And for us, that is our bread and butter, the running game. That's why we have two great running backs. Not to say that the third isn't, but like we had two great running backs who are literally game changers, and they got hurt. So there's nothing we can do about throwing the ball because at that point, that they know that's what we're about to do.
Okay, so we can go straight into that was the game. They call it the game. And I respect it, man. I never knew. I did a little bit of research on why this rivalry even exists. And it's greed, of course. We don't have to overcomplicate it. It was some greedy nonsense to begin with from way back in the gap on whose land was it really when someone came up on some dirtball type shit. But the second biggest rivalry of the weekend, I can't confirm it, but since I live in the state, we were watching the game as we were making the last pod, but then we got done before it was over. UT A&M. One person on this pod felt vindicated and one person felt upset, but for separate reasons. You want the vindication side to go first, or you want the upsetting side to go first?
No, I let the upset side go ahead.
Okay. Hey, A&M, y'all haven't played nobody for real, and then might have been what I was saying that night in the first place we were watching the game.
That night, you've been saying that all year.
I mean, I have, but I just the game that you needed to show up, the game for you. Hey, big dog, you. What happened? They looked comfortable. UT looked comfortable that whole game. You were number 3, and to take the loss like that, and we're gonna touch on this in just a little bit because there's not too many other games to get to, but A&M, you kind of got exposed. It should have already happened with South Carolina, and I think you might go into that game with a little bit more. The pressure was significantly on A&M, and I think this game, to me, also proved what I was saying in the aspect of Texas had nothing to lose, which made them more dangerous walking onto that field. If you lose, it's like, oh yeah, Texas, y'all gave up on the season. If you win, now we're back to what you have the issue with. You're in the playoff talks. Was it? Oh, buddy is making his pitch right now. He is campaigning. He's taking shots. He's shooting strays at Miami. Yeah, we just wanted to run up the score and throw fades with less than a minute left. It's like, dog, they were dominating the whole. They were throwing fades.
We're in the SEC. Yeah.
What you think, man?
I mean, the campaigning, that's going to happen regardless, especially now that we have the top 12. Like, I always felt like campaigning for the top 4 was like legitimately warranted because they were only giving 4 teams a chance to play for a championship.
Right.
There are 12 teams now. If you don't do your job early, I don't really want to hear it towards the end. Like, we're sitting here looking at teams that legitimately have a reason to kind of toot their own horn. Like, Vanderbilt went 10-2 in
Mm-hmm.
the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Not 9-3. They went 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose to Ohio, who stays number one all year. I get you. Okay, that's the game that you want to keep bringing up. But like you've also lost other games that, or have been close to losing that you should have never been a part of if you're really that team.
Right.
So for me, it looks like a facade a little bit because it's like, yes, you should be a part of the conversation with a 10-2 record, but with 9-3 and seeing other teams that are 11-1 and 10-2, you're not a part of the conversation anymore. Just because you're
Right.
Texas, you're talking about teams that are in the exact same conference as you that have a better record. No. No.
Uh-uh.
No. You can't look at your neighbor who's doing better than you, got the same job, and then go, well, why is he pulling up in the rolls? No.
Yeah.
No. I don't like
Yeah.
it. I don't like the plea
Um.
either.
Yeah. Yeah. And so okay. Other than that game, we could do the scores really quick. Georgia beats Georgia Tech, right?
Mhm.
Expected. Ole Miss handled business against Mississippi State, and then the other rivalry, Arizona State, 25 beats number 20. The rest of them,
Mhm.
I didn't think Oregon was threatened by Washington. Tech and West Virginia wasn't close. Oklahoma, you got away with one.
Mhm.
You got away with one. You were
Mhm.
about to just ruin a lot of people's weekend because if y'all go down, there was no excuse to not have UT in there or the
Right.
University of Texas in there, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
can we touch on Auburn getting cheesed really quick?
Is it unexpected though? Like keeping it clean,
These
is it
calls were
unexpected?
bad. They were bad, man.
When the announcer in like so there's a difference between like someone like Chris Collinsworth who's an NFL like commentator. Chris Collinsworth has toted the line of like calling the referees idiots on several occasions because he's
Yes.
looking at the screen going, now what exactly are they looking at? Like he'll make those comments. But if you have college commentators fighting to not say what they're trying to say because they're trying to keep their job, that should be a sole focus to let you know what's going on. Like we're all watching it together. We can see it. Me and you can see it. And when we see the same thing, but then they see something totally different, you're like, that's interesting.
Calls that these are heartbreaking calls, man.
Yeah.
These are heartbreaking calls of and that's another representation of moments of bro that can only be devastating even for Auburn. One thing we do
Yeah.
have to give credit for the SEC is like whether you're a winning team or a losing team, 9 times out of 10 they are fighting. What it
Mhm.
doesn't matter, especially in a game like this, because just for them to say they beat Alabama despite everything and go 6-6 for the season, and it would have been their second win in the SEC. That was everything. You knock them out of the playoffs. You're on the couch with us, buddy. Haha. Sit
Yeah.
down.
Yep.
And to be, I haven't seen. There's only a couple plays in my sports watching history where you really went like, yo, that ref will be under investigation for the rest of his life.
Right.
This was one of those games, and it shouldn't
Yeah.
come down to this. This was for sure one of those games. So
Yeah.
it kind of puts us now that everything wraps up. I don't understand the ranking system anymore. Does it make sense to you?
No, it never has.
And when I say ranking system, we are talking about the conference play, because there's
Mhm.
teams being listed that are supposed to be playing in conference championships, and it doesn't make sense. And the two that stand
Mhm.
out to me is the SEC and the ACC. I
Mhm.
don't get it. I
Mhm.
don't get it. I'm gonna go with the ACC first. The Duke Blue Devils, who are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the conference, are playing in the conference championship
Mhm.
against Virginia, who went number 1, which
Mhm.
is crazy. Virginia went number 1 in the conference with Miami, Georgia Tech, and shout out to them. They
And
went number 1.
mind you, Virginia is ranked 17th.
Virginia's ranked 17th.
But Miami
You're
is ranked 12th.
behind Miami, who's 3rd.
But they have a 10-2 record as well.
Yeah, come on. I don't. Does any of it make sense to you?
No. Who meets up in the conference championship usually doesn't make sense, especially because of the rankings. The rankings, you're like, oh, well, this seems better and all that. Who'd you beat out? Strength of record, inside and inner conference, like all those things play a part into it. So it becomes more convoluted than anything.
That we have multiple 6-2 teams, and I think it's just maybe trying to sit down and understand it. SMU 6-2, they're second. Miami 6-2. Like, who lost to who that lost to who that moved these types of things around? Because if we're all 6-2, what loss outweighs the other is what I'm not getting.
Right.
And then it's even worse. Maybe worse, not the word, because Duke playing for the ACC championship just sounds funny because first of all, it's Duke. And how did we get here? And maybe it's the rise of Daniel Jones. And like, you know what? Let's continue to put Duke on the map and just give them some more shine. But why are they there? And then on the other side, for the SEC, Alabama's playing Georgia, but why is it not Ole Miss in the finals? Why is it not A&M in the finals? Like, what am I missing here? And while looking at it, the SEC, bro, that's how powerful they got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 7 teams ranked at least top 15. But how did Alabama and Georgia end up here over Ole Miss, who had a stellar record? Like, who did Ole Miss lose to? Who did Ole Miss lose?
One loss all season.
They lost to Georgia. Okay, so Georgia's in the
And
final.
that's Georgia.
Right. But even when they were doing the East versus West, if you lost on that conference side, you couldn't meet in the finals. I get that. Then how does Alabama get it? Like, okay, they might have to explain this next year. And I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but
there's an explanation somewhere. Yeah, there's an explanation somewhere, but I don't get it.
Because it's frustrating when you're looking at it in the aspect of these games, these championship games are also going to be a determining factor on who goes forward in the college football playoffs.
Why do you think they put Texas at 13?
Because they knew there'd be backlash if it was 12 for real.
And they know if one of these championships happen and something happens, who can they just slide in real quick without having a big old argument?
I can't say that. I hear you. But I also can't say that simply for the fact, why is Notre Dame here? You know what I'm saying? Why is Notre Dame here, man? What are we doing, man? Okay. I don't know where they fall. And so we could do that. Championship games are coming up. Ohio State, Indiana. One of them two fall.
That's right.
Either one team, they're the last 2 undefeated teams.
They swap.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, fair. So you don't see
maybe
Georgia
you squeeze Georgia into maybe 2. But I think if you look at their season, they're both undefeated. If you lose to the number 2 seed and you're the number 1 seed, you should essentially swap.
Yes, fair. Very fair. It doesn't change that. Well, yeah, because they lost to each other. So all the other 11-1
at the
teams
end of the
lost to someone
season
different.
for the conference championship.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
respect.
Georgia's got a smear on their record. So like I know they're all gonna say, "Oh, it's SEC though." Like that's how they'll sneak into if they do put like a sandwich of like, Ohio, Georgia, Indiana, or vice versa. That's how they'll be able to spin that. But really, it should be end of season, undefeated, did what you're supposed to do. You have to lose. Someone has to lose here. And it's unfortunately they have to play each other. Swap.
Okay. If Georgia loses to Bama, they drop from 3. Where do you think they go to?
They might go as low as 6.
Okay. Okay, so if they go to 6, Alabama goes where?
They might mess around and put Alabama at 5.
Even if Texas Tech wins? Texas
Even
Tech's
if
playing
Texas Tech
BYU.
wins. I know. This is me just looking at the bias of what usually happens in this situation and just trying to keep it clean.
If they go 6, because they're supposed to be, so the first 6 teams for at least the finals are the conference winners, right? Which is crazy because we're going to see someone like UNT get obliterated.
Thanks for showing up.
The North Texas Mean Green and the Tulane Green Wave are 2 teams, and with all due respect, just don't even have the team names that sound like they should be in this conversation.
Tulane is crazy. Mean Green.
The Green Wave. The Mean Green versus the Green Wave is who's playing for the American Conference. And that winner is going to go in there with monsters, with absolute monsters. Then you're going to have, I think the winner of conference, no, is Conference USA in that? You got the Mountain West Conference. Yeah, the Sun Belt too. Okay.
We're not worried about them. They're not in the top 12. They'll do what
Can
they
Miami
need to do to
move
go
up?
play in a nice bowl.
Is there a situation where Miami moves up?
Who does Miami play this week? Duke?
No one. Championship week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Potentially. Potentially.
Let me clarify. Is it whoever wins the championship in the conference that goes in, or the best ranked from that conference?
So this isn't like so it's the best in the conference goes in. So this isn't like basketball where you win your conference, you're in. Like the top 12, you can lose your conference game, like what's going to happen with Ohio State and Indiana, and then they're still in because they're going to be in the top 12. This isn't, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking basketball terms. You're thinking you play your conference, you win, you're in. Like you're part of the 64. That's not how college football works. If you win your conference, great. You're definitely in a conversation. But if your schedule isn't strong enough to put you in the top 12, it doesn't matter. You're not getting in. So like the Mean Green, they can win all they want, but they're not going to be in the top 12.
Wait, okay. So I'm looking at the seeding criteria, right? Look at us. We can. There we go. We can look at the screen together, man.
Okay.
So we're saying this is the seeding criteria right here. It's for the people that are watching. So the 5 highest ranked conference champions receive an automatic bid. And if I'm understanding that correctly, that means after you play all the conference championship games and you go by the football rankings, the 5 highest, like if Ohio State or Indiana, they're number 1 ranking overall, and you also won your conference champion, so they go by those. If I'm reading that correctly, that's the top 5, and then the next 7 is just the highest ranked teams that didn't win their conference.
Correct.
So we're looking at more than likely SEC and SEC Big Ten automatic. Those are 2.
Yeah.
So outside of that, if we're looking at the top 12, most of those are SEC Big Ten. So that means Miami skips the line. No, it says conference champion. So does that mean Duke's in? If Duke wins, Duke is in. Highest ranked conference champions is what it says.
They go to a nice bowl game.
They're not in the playoffs.
Duke's not even ranked.
I know, but it says conference champions. Oh, you're right. So it would be somebody else ranked above them. So it might be Big 12, BYU,
Yeah.
or Texas Tech. That would be 3.
Right.
Who would be
Like
next?
Duke's not sitting at home thinking if they win this conference championship that they're in, because they're not.
Then
They get
okay,
to
so
go
then
play at a nice bowl game and they get to tell people that they won the ACC championship. That's what they get. They get to say, we did a good job at the end of the season. Let's go get some free stuff at the bowl game. And that's it.
all right, then so it would be ACC. No, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Big 10 would be the highest. SEC would be second.
Mhm.
Big 12, and then Tulane,
ACC.
American. Because everything else after that is you got an FBS independent, and based on the rules, you have to win a conference. So fuck you, Notre Dame. And the next biggest conference is the American. No,
Over
ACC. So
ACC?
Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if Virginia loses, then it'll be American.
So you do realize when they're talking about the biggest conferences, they're talking about the 5 highest ranked conferences based off the teams that are in contention for the playoffs or
So
in
they
the top
weigh the whole
25.
conference.
Correct.
So it's not one of those, like, say for example, Virginia.
Why do you think
wins.
SEC gets so much love? Because they look at their entire conference and they go, this is the greatest football that's being played.
I don't like none of this.
I don't listen. You see where my frustration comes from whenever I be hating, because I be hating. They get so much love because of the conference top to bottom. They say, "Oh, you can't touch it." That's what they say. So we're looking at the teams right now. You've got Big 10, Big 10, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, 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 SEC. They are going to have a 80% chance of an SEC team like being a champion this year because of how many SEC teams are in.
You know,
And I know where you're coming from because you're literally thinking of it like March Madness, like conference,
Yeah.
you're in, like it's supposed to be about the conferences. Nah, it is about
You know what I'm doing right
rankings in
now?
college football.
You know what I'm doing?
But
I'm learning by Googling the gambling line on who's most likely the 12 teams to go in. So it might provide some clarity for me.
it's definitely going to be pretty close to accurate. I can tell you that.
You know, so based on what it's saying, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech. That's what it's saying. Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech. Those are the 4. Then the next one right after, or next few, Oregon, Ole Miss, Aggies, Oklahoma, Alabama, Notre Dame. On the bubble, BYU, like these are the teams that might squeak in depending on upsets, conference champs, whatever. BYU, Miami, Virginia, North Texas, or Tulane.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
Oh.
So for your situation, there's no Texas mentioned in the likelihood of it.
But North
there's
Texas
something
in
in
the
the
top
selection.
12 sounds disgusting.
So in a off chance that somebody loses, it looks like that's what would be needed for Texas to squeak in there. At least just strictly on what's on paper.
I know. But the only problem about this, and I love the fact that Vegas is trying to help me in my theory. The only problem is they're an SEC team.
But there's so many SEC teams ahead of them.
And they're right there at 13. Like, David, this is it, fam. Like, they're at 13. They got them right here on the edge because they're like, wait till somebody else mess up on this side. We're going to swipe you right on in. Like,
Right.
It's so much money on the line not to have Texas in the top 12, and they know that. And so they're looking at the scenario going, if we can just put them at 13, okay, and one of these 9 through 12 teams mess up, we've got enough to just squeak them in. We've got enough.
Now that we've looked at it, I don't think they can, though. The only two teams that can mess up is Alabama at 9. They need Alabama at 9 to take an L, because if not, Ole Miss, A&M, and Oklahoma have a better record than them.
Right.
In the SEC.
Right.
So they would need a 9 to fall, and I don't know if that then puts them above, because then they're going to start strength of schedule. But BYU, who could potentially be either 12-1 or 11-2, Miami. You know what?
You're doing a thing of the record.
You're right.
You're doing a thing of the record, but I'm talking about the school and the conference. So Texas in the SEC, and they will be able to say a SEC 9-3 is better than a 10-2.
I can easily argue. Yeah, and I get it. I could easily argue Texas beating out Miami, even with the record.
That's all I'm saying. But that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, they will find a way to fight this argument for us. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough, man. Well, I don't like the fact that this was confusing me. So let's go to professional CTE, man. NFL talks, man. NFL talks, man. Help me get to it. At least this stuff makes sense. Help me on what were the highlights for you this week, man? What popped up?
Well, I mean, like we talked about, Thanksgiving popped off. It was some great games throughout that day. Starting it off, unfortunately, my Lions lost. You know, I like to get in front of it so you can't clown me later. But 31-24, they lost. Is what it is. We lost St. Brown very early. JMO, Gibbs, it's scary for either one of them guys because they're very, very talented. But we needed the full effort to beat the Packers. We didn't lose by like a crazy amount. It was 31-24. So like this game could have gone either way. But you're gonna tell me to give up on Jared Goff. I'm gonna ignore you. We're gonna just keep pushing past that because we just can't deal with that right now. Pretty much what I got for that. Cowboys beat the Chiefs.
They did. Cowboys are in the hunt, and the Chiefs need to win everything going forward. Everything. I don't know if they can win everything going forward.
It doesn't look that way. From what we've been seeing, it doesn't look that way. But I, again, never count Pat Mahomes out.
Yes. No, you don't count him out. I also can't count out the other people that are also playing football at the same time that Pat is. Like going back to the
I'm just saying I'm not hanging it up. I'm not hanging it up for them this year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Going back to the first game, I know we touched on it on the last episode because the games that happened. I only want to touch on, hey, Dan, sometimes it's okay to punt on fourth down. That's the only thing I have for you. Sometimes there's certain situations where it is okay to punt and you can win the game by field position. And you know the old school strategy, but every now and then I think it would surprise them. I think you can mess around, kick a punt, they have no blocking, and you get a fumble somewhere down there because they weren't expecting that.
Right.
That's what I have for that. For the games that happened Sunday, my highlights, I'll start with the Monday night game. The Patriots were hitting those boys over there in New York. Jackson.
Go out of bounds.
Jackson Dart, please. If you're not Pat, I'm sorry. You are not Josh Allen. I don't think you have the frame to keep taking those types of hits.
You're not Russell Wilson.
You're not. And shout out to the homie that got up. He was willing to fight for you, but it was on you. Legs should be on the ground. Yours, hey, bro. They're aiming for the Patriots were hitting those boys. It felt like football was back. I think they started to understand the formula for the NFL. The same way that we talked about with basketball is like, okay, what do we do now when these main stars aren't playing? What do we do now once you start to see a shift? We're seeing a season where Josh, Lamar, Pat, Joe, they trying to figure it out. So we need somebody there. Do I think Drake May's the guy? No, but what you replace it for a lot of bubbling names is physicality. You keep giving me games like this, I'm feeling like it's back to we're getting closer to the golden era of the 2000s. Do I need a Ray Lewis hit across the middle? Not necessarily, because I do want them to have healthy brains when they do retire. But every now and then, you do got to hit an Antonio Brown. You do kind of just got to let him know, don't come across the middle. You got to give him a Chad Ochocinco, like, hey, this slant ain't for everybody. That
right.
I appreciated every single step of that game. The other one, my other game is, I'm still on your ass, dog. I'm still on your ass, Raheem. You feel me? I'm still on your ass, bro. We ain't forget about you, man. You know what I'm saying? We take this to heart. You know what I'm saying? We take this to heart. I believe in y'all, and you make me feel like this, son. Hey,
the Cleveland Browns should be copyright infringing that one right there, because that is their slogan, mascot, more than anything. So the fact that you over here showing that is crazy.
It started with the Aints, remember? Because the Saints used to wear the bags on the head. Yeah, that was them. But this again, we went from this
man
to this, man. We went to that. Look, the Falcons just need to call it quits. They need to figure out something else that's going on for the year. If I'm Bijan, I'm faking an injury. I'm sorry. You're not getting me hit for these last few games talking about we're in the hunt. The hunt for what? It's not the hunt for better. It's not the hunt for food, because y'all don't look hungry. It's not the hunt for success. You literally shy away from it. Who is making the decisions? I don't know. And you then you show us how you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. You then proceed to put out a package during the week of y'all doing an OVO collab. You went loser for loser, dog. I'm not even from Atlanta, and I want to be freed from this colonization. You went to a Drake collab.
Wow.
I was gonna get them.
Wow.
Right? Like, you putting out merchandise that has an owl on the back. You're already a bird, stupid. You're a falcon. What do you do? You're already a bird. So you're gonna put a bird on a bird? You know how stupid that sounds? You put a bird
oh my God.
next to a bird, and that bird just got cooked. Like, is it birds of a feather? Is that what's happening? Two cooked birds just being served up on a little sweatshirt with pockets is what's happening in Atlanta in real time, releasing this week. Like, this is gonna get the fans. What? It's not fully Raheem's fault. And I'm sure Arthur is maybe possibly showing his age, but Michael Penix has no more CLs. There's none left. Surgery number 6. You gave the pick to the Rams. Cool. I would kidnap Jameis Winston at this point and paint a number 9 on his jersey and say we would do better than this. Kirk wants to leave. So we in a situation. Where's Blaine Gabbert? I don't know. Just throw some names out there. I'd be satisfied with, but wait, Doug, here. This is where we're at. And you gave me what's the last Drake album? Really quick. Go. Don't overthink. What's the last Drake album?
24?
24. That's
some of the name of it?
No, what's his last album?
You're trying to
they're doing a collab.
No,
you forgot.
No,
you forgot. They're doing a collab.
What year or what name?
What they're doing a collab. The year ain't gonna save you. You could Google. You could look to the side all you want. The point of the matter is they're fumbling the bag. That's my highlight of the bum ass week is the Falcons. Now that I got that out of my system, bro.
I don't like how I was a part of this hate for Drake though. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand this. You know what I mean? Keep that on the other pods. All right,
lose a rap battle,
doing that over
lose a
here too.
lawsuit, and win a Falcons endorsement.
An NFL endorsement, not Falcons. NFL.
Lose the lawsuit. This don't compare to the Super Bowl. You lose the
beat. You lose a lawsuit if it got dismissed and they took it off. You didn't take it to court.
Us right here. I need you to understand all the Falcons fans will kidnap somebody. I'm not even from Atlanta, but I'll be there. And if there's a parade to carry out Raheem, and we're gonna embrace you with a group hug. I just want to be clear because you're a black man.
Wow.
You look out to the people. We're not gonna do anything. If you looked like some other people, I don't know what's gonna happen. What I do know is I need you to at least, at minimum, throw the words offensive coordinator out there soon, because that's what you need. You do. You need an offensive coordinator. If not, that's your ass. Woo, boy, the Falcons are dirt. Man, the Falcons are dirt, man. Only way it could be worse if we had someone like Kyler Murray, but no,
because Kyler would give you a couple games that you could feel proud about. So I don't think it could get worse with Kyler Murray on the team. Sorry. I said a couple. I didn't say he would turn the season around. I said he gave a couple games to feel excited about.
His team's eliminated. We're not even eliminated. We should be.
His
team's eliminated. He's not even starting.
It's another conversation.
It's all birds. Don't matter. It's all birds.
All for the birds, yeah.
It's all birds. I don't think the Chiefs make the playoffs. That's my hot take for the week.
Ooh.
I don't think the Chiefs make the playoffs.
I mean, you're not far off from where they are in the contention and the hunt and all that stuff. You're definitely not too far off. I just don't know if I can call it this early.
It's not even about being far off. I don't think outside of the Titans that you can win out confidently. I'm seeing what looked like a confident CJ Stroud the other day, and that Texans defense is monstrous. Monstrous, right?
Game changer.
Then you go play the Chargers in LA.
That's a hit or miss, though.
It's a hit or miss, but it don't seem like more of a hit than a miss right now, because they have all the weapons that you do. And Justin Herbert, just based on what we saw in the first game, Rashee Rice is a big difference. I don't think it's big enough of a difference as they proceed to get back their tight end and they proceed to get back Hampton off of IR. He will be back by that game. You beat the Titans, sure. You're going to Denver.
Okay. That's not a game you win.
On Christmas Day. You're going to Denver on Christmas Day.
That's not a game you win.
You beat the Raiders, sure. But you took at least, to me, 3 losses in this process.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, like we talked about with the Ravens, if you do something to kind of turn the tide, you can run the table in a few games. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying they have the opportunity.
As of right now, they're third in their conference, and they're third by a comfortable margin. Right? They're 6-6. The Chargers are 8-4. Denver is 10-2. So you're not getting first place. We'll be clear there. I don't see Denver just losing their next 5. So you have to get into a wild card situation.
Right. Well, that's the only way I saw them getting in anyway.
You who else would you have? Indianapolis losing out? Because that's a tough division. The Jaguars, the Colts, and the Texans.
Yeah.
If you beat the Texans, which you would be highly beneficial, then you can probably say around the time that y'all have the same record, you have the edge. Did they beat Indianapolis? I can't remember. Did they play Indianapolis?
I don't remember.
No, Indy beat them 23-20. Indy beat them.
Okay.
And I think they lost to the Jags. They lost to that entire conference.
Is that the start of the season though, without Rice?
No, the Chiefs lost to the Jags, the Texans. I'm sorry, the Chiefs lost to the Colts, the Jags, and they're playing the Texans. So if all 3 of those teams beat you, you lost to the whole AFC South. Those are anyone that doesn't win that is also a wild card team. They have the game up on you if y'all have similar records. It's not looking good for you, man. It's just not looking good for you. I don't have the Chiefs making the playoffs. I'm sure they're going to make it a story. I need every single part of the Rashee Rice fantasy points. I do in the big money league. Like you carried me from 0-5 to a lock in the playoffs with I'm the second highest team in the league as far as scoring. Yeah, I need you to keep throwing it to him. I
When
want you to
I
make him
saw
interesting.
that I clinched a playoff spot after not being in it last year.
Look, I got eliminated in our league. It hurt. It burned a little bit. I lost some games that I didn't need to lose. But I'm not mad at it because all the records are close. In the big money league, the boy came back thundering.
There
And
you
it was
go.
all due to
There you go.
Rashee Rice, right? I don't have the Chiefs getting there. I don't know if who else did they play anybody in the AFC North? Who do you have coming out of that division? Everybody's 6-6 or 4-8. Can Joe Burrow turn it around?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
So right now, NFC, you definitely have the Eagles. I mean, the Bears and the Packers are definitely fighting it out right now. Buccaneers, Panthers, like that can get spicy towards the end of the season. Rams have easily taken this over. But you have the Seahawks who have the exact same record with the 49ers at 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who comes out of that division. You would love to say the Rams because they've been looking good all season, but I'm actually worried about Seahawks. I'm not
Is
so
that
worried about the
because the
49ers.
household misses Sam Darnold right now?
No, and it's honestly because not because of him, because everything else around him has gotten those wins. And
Okay.
with the top wide receiver in the league right now, it just looks like it's a drop in the bucket every time he throws the ball up.
Okay. I want to say I'm kind of nervous for the NFC in general. The way that the AFC is shaping out, the NFC is kind of even across the board. And the leader of every conference, the highest win is a 9-win team. You got 9-3 for the Rams, who also have a 9-3 Seattle Seahawks and a 9-4 San Francisco 49ers in that conference. Then you're looking at a 9-3 Chicago, who's trailed really closely by an 8-3 Green Bay and a 7-5 Detroit Lions. You got a 7-5 Tampa Bay team that's only one game ahead of a 7-6 Carolina team. And then you have a little bit more of a separation. Washington, even though they're not eliminated, they're on that verge, but Dallas is not too far behind getting a win. If Philly messes up another game, there's a different conversation. But meanwhile, you got that 11-2 and 10-2 team in the AFC, the Patriots and the Broncos, look scary. And the ones that are hot on their heels also look scary. Do you still have what's our Super Bowl prediction? Again, let's update one more time. What's our Super Bowl prediction?
Super Bowl prediction as of right now.
NFL, who's in the big game? Super Bowl, top of 2026.
I don't think it's the Colts anymore.
Okay.
You had the Broncos. Are you still riding with that?
I am still in the spirit of Russell Wilson. Broncos country, let's ride, bro. I'm still with the Broncos here, man.
I can't even argue with that right now. I honestly can't argue with the Broncos. Like they keep winning games that they're not supposed to, or they put themselves in a position where they're not supposed to win. You know what I mean? Like this is reminding me, and unfortunately I had to remind my wife a couple of days ago, this is reminding me of the season the Minnesota had 2 years ago with Kurt, where they were winning and they won every game that they were down 20-something points to, or something like that. Like they went like 13-3, literally winning that season just that exact way every single game. But the difference is they have Bo Nix and Sean Payton instead of Kirk Cousins. So
Yeah.
they're definitely scaring me on the AFC side. I would venture to say that the Patriots might be their biggest op. The Patriots looks good. Like
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel got the boys looking good.
Yeah.
And they're riding a wave right now too. So I would say out of those two, since you have Denver, I'll pick New England.
Not mad at it.
Okay. And then in the NFC, that's harder than anything because it's almost like looking at the Western Conference in the NBA and then looking at the East. You got a couple teams in the East you got to worry about, but in the West, there's like 10. So I'm looking at the schedule, I'm looking at the teams. I would have to say, if I'm putting my money on somebody right now, I'm going to hate myself for this. The Seahawks.
Ooh.
They look
Really?
that good to me. I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm saying this. I don't know what I'm seeing. They look that good to me though. And I'm not saying this because of Sam Darnold. I'm saying this because
Okay.
of the team. And I'm also talking about the threat that they have for both wide receivers. It looks scary.
Really? I really figured you would at least gave me someone out of the NFC North. Seattle. Okay. Well, I might have changed my tune. As much as I still want to stand with Philly, I see what you see in the Seahawks in Green Bay.
Yes. We talked
And
about them being a serious
yeah,
team this year.
yeah, and I think it's going to come down to it. It's going to come down to how they finish for me the last 3 games, but they do go through a gauntlet to end the season. They see the
Mm-hmm.
Bears twice.
Mm-hmm.
In between seeing the Bears, and in the span of 3 weeks, you have 2 divisional games. The one that splits those 2 divisional games is the Denver Broncos at Denver.
Mm.
So you go Chicago, Denver, Chicago, Baltimore. Tough schedule. You end
That's
with the
very
Vikings.
tough.
You end with the Vikings, so it could go left very fast too in this whole
Yeah.
situation. It could go
Yeah.
left very, very fast. I want to pivot. I want to pivot to him, but I also that's what my heart wants to do. My gut's still telling me Philly decided to do that yearly lull that they do just a little bit earlier and get it out the way because you got 5 games left, and
Yeah.
these 5 games lean more towards your favor. You see the Chargers. It's Monday. It's next upcoming game. You see the Chargers. Then you get a scrimmage with the Raiders.
Right.
You get a free scrimmage late in the
Yep.
season too. You just get a
Yep.
freebie. You see Washington
Mm-hmm.
get you out in the cold. You know, you more
Mm-hmm.
than likely, if you win, there's a strong chance you might be hosting. So you already used to the
Mm-hmm.
snow. You go to Buffalo, which is the game. That's the game that you have left. You're going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And that's the game for
Yep.
both of y'all to really gauge yourselves going into the playoffs. And then you finish with a home game against Washington again. You have
Yeah.
a good schedule. I'm looking at that. You should win at least 3 of those 5. To me, I have them beating the Raiders. I have them
Mm-hmm.
getting at least 1 with Washington, and then I also have them beating the Bills.
Really?
I have them beating the Bills. I think the Chargers might get them, and I think this is a make or break for the Chargers, but Herbert is potentially hurt, but I think he might play, and I think that's one
Right.
that the Chargers need to see themselves. But I have them, after they lose to the Chargers, they need to see, are we really Philly? And I have them beating Buffalo in Buffalo.
Okay.
And I stick
That's
with
tough. That's tough. End of the
Denver versus
season.
Philly. Stick with Denver versus Philly. That's where
I feel like Philly is a good choice. I feel like it's an easy choice. I also feel like Philly's going to step on their own toe.
who you have them losing to in those last 5.
And And crazy part about it, you said Chicago, right?
No, they just lost to Chicago. They play
Right.
the Chargers,
Yep.
Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders.
Chargers.
That's one.
Okay. And the Bills.
So they'd be 3-2. You haven't beaten the Commanders twice?
Technically, I think one of those Commanders gets taken too. If I'm being optimistic, I'm being a little crazy on this one, but I'm thinking somebody's sitting because they don't want them to get hurt during the playoffs. All that type of. That's where I'm thinking I'm leaning.
Now, what you just said did cross my mind. Right now, though, with the NFC, I don't think any team is in a position right now to talk about sitting anything. Every game.
No. It's the Wild
Wild
West. You have to play.
So you now Marcus Mariota has tried to pull off some upsets this year. I'm not sure if you could do it twice. Terry McLaurin, can I holler at you real quick too? I drafted you against my better judgment in a league, which was cool because, a lot of them I don't really talk to anyways. But can you just go home? Because I don't like this. You show up for practice, you're out, but you're not going to play. And then you do play, and then now all of a sudden you want to catch touchdowns, but you didn't tell nobody you was going to play. And so then you set your lineup for the next week. I put you in there thinking like, yeah, you was just back last week and you hurt again. And hey, man, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
You went off the emotional roller coaster?
It was I've been doing well enough because I was fortunate in a great risk of drafting Josh Allen and Jahmyr Gibbs in back-to-back picks. So they have been carrying the load in a lot for that team. And then they messed around and let me trade for I gave a can of Frankenbeans for Drake London. And mind you, they requested this. I didn't send the trade. They requested it. I don't know what they drank that night, but no takesies backsies, right?
Yeah.
We skipped the topic before we wrap up. We forgot to talk about the alleged hoe of Lane Kiffin. I say alleged because those aren't my words.
But you just said it still.
I'm just saying what the man said to him. He said he's not, and come back to the locker room and see me. So I like someone that stands on business. He said, come see me on the other side. Can't do it right here, but the world knows you got to come see me. Lane Kiffin takes a job at LSU while coaching Ole Miss. We've seen this happen before. There's a funny piece of him saying he would still like to coach the game, which is crazy. Crazy work in the bowl game that they're probably going to be in. But how do you feel about Lane going over to LSU? Is that the choice you would have made? Were there better options? Is this better for him? Did LSU win? Is he just a bag chaser? What you got?
All these allegations are crazy. It's a better school. It's a better opportunity. They promised. So first of all, saying that, I talked to my homie about this, saying that he didn't know what the terms of the deal was before he made the deal is absolutely just crazy. Oh, I'm going to just show up to his job. I don't know how much they pay him though. What? LSU is cool. They're not that cool, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I liked working at different jobs, but they weren't worth not getting paid. You know what I mean? So he went for the bag. He went for what was good for him, and that's fine. But the school did what was good for them. And they said, we're not going to sit here and let you just keep recruiting kids for the next month and taking, talent with you and coaches with you and everything else. Mind you, he's probably doing that already anyway. So that's why a part of me is like, why not just ride this out, see if you can finish the job? But then they don't want him to win the national championship and then leave. They're the bitter ex. They don't want you kicking your feet up. I think Scott Van Pelt said it the best the other day. He was like, if we get through a divorce, you're not staying together for Christmas for the kids. Get out. We'll figure out Christmas when we figure out Christmas. But like, there's no need for you to just to kind of stick around. You know what I mean? So he definitely did it for himself. It was a bag move. Mind you, he was waiting to see if Alabama lost, because if they lost, then that job would have been up for grabs, and that's the job he really wants. So it's the most, like, coveted job in football. So, like, yeah, he wanted that Bama job, but he's just gonna go next door. He's gonna go to LSU. He's gonna figure that out, and yeah.
Why not Florida?
Florida needs way too much work.
You think so?
You could go
don't
to
think he gets-
go to LSU and with a $25 million team budget and go do exactly what you need to go do. Florida wasn't going to give him all that.
What's the difference between Florida and Ole Miss?
I don't think much, and I think that's why he left.
But you got Ole Miss, that they are the highest they've been. Well, I don't want to say highest because Ole Miss is usually in the running, but they look the most crisp we've seen them,
Right.
and they're winning
Right.
confidently.
Right.
You got what you needed.
I think he saw what he did with the team in the last 4 years, saying, man, this was a lot of work trying to build what he had to do. Now he can just go buy it. Now he can literally just say, it's LSU, here's $1 million, come play. And it's not going to be a hard buy.
They gave him 7 years for a contract worth $91 million, which breaks down to give or take 13 a year. Would you hoe out for 13?
Yeah. 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 And if he wins the national championship, he automatically gets pushed to the highest paid coach in college football.
If he wins it, yes. Yes, because right now
he's an escalator. He's an escalator. So if he went, not to mention the other things he has the perks of, he has like 700 hours of flying time he can use on the private jet. He has a membership to the golf club, like all the different things that they've put in as perks for him. But aside of that, if he wins a chip, he's the highest paid coach, and he is guaranteed a $25 million roster for every year that he's a coach of LSU.
Which is
I'm gone.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm gone.
How do you not? Now, I did see.
What about this historic run for Ole Miss? Did you see the check they're cutting?
Yeah,
I'm gone.
Now, I'm kind of shocked too, because at the same time, today, as we speak, this very day, we're shooting this. Alabama has signed 4 of the number 1 positions in their respective class for the 2026 class. I think they got the number 1 safety in the country.
Wonder why that happened.
The number 1 linebacker. I think they got a cornerback, and I want to say there was someone on the offensive end. They got 4 number 1s, blue chips, coming over there, and I always forget their coach's name. And part of me also feels like, depending on how them getting to the conference championship saved him. And you're right. Lane Kiffin was looking to see how that goes. If he would have lost beforehand, we may not be having this conversation. But I also don't know if like Alabama was willing to do what LSU did. Alabama was trying to make him a proper person. LSU said, I'm okay with your hoeing. Here's 13 M's. Right. Hoe for me. Well, man. Shake some leg right quick, bro. We got 13 M's. And if you do me right and don't tell nobody, we make you the highest paid hoe of all time. That's kind of crazy work, man. So him having to deal with the scrutiny of LSU that you were speaking about, how do you feel? Still the same thing? The governor is involved.
I know. It's getting petty because obviously a man has a right to do whatever he wants. And I get the fact that you're not happy with the decision that he made because you already you already had it. You're literally looking at a chance to win a national championship. You're happy about the situation. Why in the world would you not want to see this through? I know why the team is saying that. I know why the coaches are saying that. But these are also the people that haven't been presented with the option. And it's not easy to turn down $13 million and the team that you could never dream of that you can have at your fingertips. So I understand where all the animosity is coming from, because it's coming from a real place of wanting their team to succeed or wanting Ole Miss to succeed. But
Right.
Lane Kiffin ain't Ole Miss. Have you not seen this man's whole track record? Okay. And I meant to say whole, not whole, but whole track record. He's been bopping from team to team since he had a chance to. They done kicked him off the tarmac. They done kicked him out the stadium. They done told homeboy to go home. They've done so many different ways. Lane Kiffin has showed you one thing. I'm going to do what's best for me. And while I'm here, if we're successful, that's great. But I'm still at the end of the day going to do what's best for me. So this should come as no surprise.
So essentially, Lane Kiffin said, "I'm not your coach. It's just your turn."
Lane Kiffin said, "This ain't nothing you ain't seen before." Why y'all shocked now? Why everybody all up in arms now? I got the dream job. Y'all mad at me for getting a dream job?
Hey, man.
What?
Now, they did sign 11 players in early signing today.
Interesting.
11. They got the number one defensive tackle in the nation. Scooped them.
Check.
Scooped them. If I'm looking through it right now, I see they got a 4-star recruit out of Cali. They got a 5-star recruit, number 2 in Louisiana, or number 12 in the nation, number 2 in Louisiana, number 1 at that position. That's the defensive tackle. You get a 3-star recruit. You get another 4-star recruit. Like they got some players. You didn't get what Alabama got, but you got a couple people that are flipping from Ole Miss coming over there with him. They got a handful. I'm looking at just like a handful of 4-star recruits, man. You know, hoeing gone right.
And just to say real quick too, a kid signing somewhere, I don't believe it until he's in the jersey.
That's a fact.
Because a kid could just leave now. So all these Alabama recruits that they had signed because they really need to make a splash because they know that Lane Kiffin is about to be a problem over at LSU, that's fine. Until they have a jersey on and a helmet on, I don't believe it.
Lane Kiffin being a top-tier hoe, but also showing up to your door to recruit your child in a fur coat saying, "I get $25 million a year."
How much morals do you have? How many morals do you have? Because my checkbook can scratch your back, you know, as far as you need it to go.
Hoeing is the number one product in the history of the world. The world, sir. the world. You either win it or you ain't.
Yeah.
So you want this purple and gold, or you want to be a loser, broke over here. Roar for me. Do the roar.
Yeah.
Do the roar.
These stripes look good, don't they?
Oh man. Yeah, man. That's been an episode for us, bro. We got to some details today, man. But as usual, like, comment, and subscribe for us. We have the YouTube page. We have the Instagram page. We have the TikTok page. We officially have the Twitter page. I told y'all I would get it out there. And if I'm running the Twitter page, it's gonna be nothing but clips. I'm trying to rediscover the space of Twitter. We might dabble in our craziest take, sending it over there, because you know, if you can survive the trenches of the bot retweets, you can survive anywhere. That's how I feel in today's social media game. So like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the homie Abe. He's been out here fighting. Not only he's been fighting Nico for shooting out that post about Michigan losing, he also put out some LeBron takes that a few of y'all didn't take too kindly for. And he's a Laker representative. He's a Laker representative. But follow the homie Abe. Jamel will be back next week. Rose, happy birthday to you, good sir. Right. And Rudy, we miss you. And Smith coming soon. But this is Ray, Bucket Hat Ray, aka El Tenedor. We are signing out from the Keep It Clean Podcast Sports Edition. Appreciate y'all.
Every time you see me, I keep it clean like a coaster.